You're listening to the Fast F1 podcast. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast F1 podcast with me, Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Meteye-O'Kane.
And today, we're talking about the awesome 2024 Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Azerbaijani?
Well,
I mean, that's what it should be called.
That's what it should be called. In fact, it's called the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
I feel like that's what...
But we say Italian Grand Prix and we say Spanish Grand Prix. You don't say
I've been looking
Italy
at that.
Grand Prix or Spain Grand Prix.
Exactly. I've been looking at that a lot recently. Like the Qatar Grand Prix and the United States Grand Prix. That's the one that annoys me the most, is that it's not called the American Grand Prix.
Well, whatever. It is what it is.
Anyways,
the race was awesome.
Amazing.
Right? Super exciting.
except for the last two laps. I don't
The
want to
last two laps, well, we'll get on to that. But first, like always, let's start with some news that happened between races. What do you got for us?
Oh boy, are we in for something big. Adrian Newey will be joining Aston Martin for the 2025 F1 season and beyond.
Yes, the worst kept secret in Formula One this year was that Adrian Newey was going to Aston Martin. It was finally actually announced.
Yes. So I want to talk about whether or not we think that in 2026, when the new aero regulations could determine whether or not Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, or even a potential Felipe Drugovich could win a championship.
So, first of all, I'll go in reverse order. Felipe Drugovich, no, because he won't be driving.
Got it.
Second, Lance Stroll, no, because he's terrible.
Yes.
And third, Alonso, no, because I don't think Aston Martin will actually be all that good in 2026. And the reason is because even though there's going to be a lot of aerodynamic changes for 2026, it's largely going to be an engine formula change.
100% agree with you.
They're going to massively different engines that are going to be less powerful, which is part of the reason for the aerodynamic changes. And so even though the aerodynamic part of it is going to be very important, I don't think... Well, they're going to be having what engines at that point? Will they be having?
They will be having Honda engines.
Engines.
So
Well,
he's used to that engine, though.
Maybe. Well, he's not used to that engine.
Well, he's
Alonso's
using
not.
it right now.
Alonso's not using Honda engines.
No, but Adrian Newey is.
Well, that's true, but the engine will be quite different from what they have now, and
Yes.
I just I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think that Adrian Newey is enough to make the difference. I think that it's going to have to be rely on Honda getting the engine right.
I'm going to take it a step further. I actually think that they're going to finish in 2026, or not 2026, 25 when they get the move. I think they're going to finish where they did 2022 in 6th place.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
I think they're going to actually take a step down, if anything. I think Adrian Newey will not know the program well enough, but I do believe that in 2026 they'll probably be looking at like one of those top contenders, like right by McLaren. They're not going to be anywhere near McLaren, but they're going to be right there with McLaren.
Wait, they're not going to be near him, but they'll be right there with him?
Like in the championship, they'll be right there with them on the track, but they're not going to be anywhere near them on the championship.
So they'll be
stand.
consistently the tail end of the top 5 teams.
Yes.
In 2026. But in 2025, you're thinking they're going to be 6th place.
Yes.
Who's going to be 5th then?
I do not think it's going to be Alpine. I'm actually starting to think Komatsu might be getting something up and ready. And Behrman has been performing. He did show me. I did not think Behrman was going to
You're
do
thinking Haas then?
I am crazy, huh?
Yeah. Well,
But
could happen.
Behrman actually surprised me quite a bit this weekend. I really didn't think he was going to do all that well. I mean, he's sitting, 15th in F2 right now or something?
I don't know.
But it was only after the podcast, like the next day, I was like, that's right! Literally last year, he took his first 2 wins at this track.
Yeah. So, any other news this week? Not really much other than Behrman filling in for Magnussen, right?
Well, that's the other thing that we were going to talk about. Magnussen, we knew was going to get banned. Now
Yeah.
we need to talk about Behrman, who will be filling in, has filled in a week ago. We're recording this a day before the Singapore Grand Prix weekend starts up, so we don't know anything yet. But this is because for the first time, Kevin Magnussen has reached 12 penalty points.
Yep. So we talked about that
Naughty
after
boy.
the Italian Grand Prix, that he was going to get a penalty, or that he would be banned from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And what we didn't know at the time was who was going to be taking his place. And unsurprisingly,
we knew. We
yeah,
did.
unsurprisingly, it was Ali Behrman, and he did pretty well.
He really did. He got a 10th place finish. That was apparently that marked one of the weirdest records in history that I would have thought would have been achieved like at least 10 times already. The first driver to score points in the same season for debuting for the first two teams.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it's a strange record. The first driver, to have scored points for multiple teams on his debut in each of those teams in a single season. It's a weirdly specific one that I don't imagine has actually had that many drivers that have had that opportunity. Certainly not in the last 20, 30 years. Maybe back in like the 50s when drivers would change teams a lot.
That's why I'm surprised that it never happened. Well, then again, the point system only went to the top 5 in the early 50s.
Yeah, so it's an interesting record, but
It
I mean,
is.
nevertheless, he did a good job.
I'm still surprised
He was not
never
on
given.
for a 10th place, though. He was on for 11th place until the crash toward the end, and then he poached a point off of Hulkenberg.
He did.
And Hamilton poached a 9th place from Hulkenberg as well. But
Yeah. Not the best weekend from Hamilton, but that's because of a penalty. So,
yeah, well,
anyways.
so then moving on into the race weekend.
Red Bull looked pretty strong. I was very happy with my predictions with Verstappen in first, Perez in, what did I say, second? I was listening back. I thought I said Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, and when I found out that I had said Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, I was like, oh my gosh. So no point for Leclerc, sadly. But anyways, Red Bull looked really strong. Highest average of the weekend, Sergio Perez. Shocker, king of the streets.
Yeah, Perez has always gone well at Baku.
He's the only person who's won more than once here.
Yeah, and he was fast in practice. Both Red Bulls were looking decent in practice, and maybe not necessarily, the fastest, but they were looking okay.
Yeah. Leclerc, Bottas, Behrman, Colapinto, all looked very on the edge. Leclerc hit the wall, Colapinto hit the wall, Behrman hit the wall. Bottas kept going off a lot.
Yeah, it's a difficult track.
It is. It's one of the hardest.
Yeah.
We're coming up to another one of the hardest. But that's those street circuits. You got to master
Practice
them.
didn't tell us a whole lot, though, really in terms
didn't.
of the pecking order, other than that the Ferraris were kind of fast.
Yeah, and the Alpines had very big problems.
Yeah. So we moved into qualifying with kind of question marks about really who was going to be where. The McLarens didn't look real strong, but they were there or thereabouts in practice. So
Well,
in in qualifying one, of course, the McLarens both dominated, right?
I don't know where Piastri finished.
Or Norris got knocked out.
Both McLarens dominated. Well, I don't know about one of them. I mean, one of them made it into Q2 and Q3.
Yeah, so Norris, didn't bank a good enough lap in the first part of Q1, and then his second run in Q1, he got hit yellow flags, had to slow down, and then just trying too hard to make it up at the end of the lap, and ended up having to abort his lap, and that was it. He was knocked out.
We still have not seen what yellow flags there were for.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think
it was.
I don't know if it was one of the Alpines.
Yeah,
I think
I was
it
going to
stopped
say.
on track.
I think I heard it might have been Ocon.
Yeah, I think so. And so when Norris came upon Ocon's car, he had to slow down and
Which is
lost
so
time.
dumb.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Well, I
mean,
know,
you
but the McLaren had protested. They obviously got denied, but
yeah.
it's so dumb to throw a yellow flag like that.
No, it's not dumb. It's for safety reasons.
Well,
the car
we
stopped on track. You can't have the people
Well, they
flying
would
by
have
at full
shown
speed.
it on the camera if it was that big of a deal. Now, wouldn't
Well, it
they
probably
have?
wasn't a big deal. I think it was a mechanical failure, so it's not that big of a thing to see. But it ended up affecting Norris.
Well, it was that big of a thing to see when Norris was knocked out in 17th.
Yep, 17th place.
Started,
And then
he started 15th, but that's still pretty far down.
yeah, nothing else too notable in Q1 or Q2, right?
Yep. Nope.
Except
well,
who got into Q3 that we wouldn't have expected?
oh man, Congratulations, Franco Colapinto.
Yeah. And Alex Albon. Both of them got into the
That's
top.
true.
Into Q3.
Williams had a mega weekend.
They had a really good weekend. And Colapinto he beat Albon in qualifying, didn't he? He started in 8th,
Well,
right?
that's because Albon didn't get a second lap in because they put the ice on his car and left it there along with the fan. I was like, I just saw a green little helicopter-looking thing over the top of his car on the way out of the pits. I was like, what is that thing?
Yeah. Yeah, so he didn't get a fast lap in Q3. But nevertheless, Colapinto didn't qualify in 9th either. He qualified in 8th, ahead of...
That's right, Hamilton.
He got ahead of Hamilton, that's right.
Because he got a penalty, like we were saying before.
Yeah.
So, no surprise who got pole position. Charles Leclerc, everyone guessed it. Perez, 4th.
Yep, Perez...
For the first time qualifying ahead of Verstappen, and he qualified 2 places ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah, qualified ahead of him for the first time this year. First time since the early part of last year, I think, even.
I believe it was actually one of the
Like
last
30 races or
last
so?
year. No,
No,
no, not 30 races. Like I think it was just like one of the last races last year.
I don't know, but anyways, it was the first time this year that he out-qualified Verstappen.
Yeah.
And Verstappen qualified way down in 7th, was it?
6th.
6th place, okay.
No gain in position. Almost, but not quite.
No gain in position?
After qualifying.
Oh, because of penalties that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Oh my gosh. The thing is, I saw Ocon in last place in Q1 and Joe was in 19th. I was like, finally, Joe's not in last. I pull up Formula1.com like 2 hours later, and then I found out like 2 days prior there was a post that said Joe has a penalty for something. I was like, are you kidding
Yeah, so he still
me?
started in last.
He still started in last.
Yeah, he's having a pretty rotten season.
He really is. He's
Yeah.
so slow.
Yep.
As
Yep.
always.
So then we move on to the Grand Prix, the race.
Yes.
And off the line, not much action off the line. A couple of little position changes here and there.
Norris
but everybody
gained
got through. Everybody got through relatively clean. Norris gained a couple of positions off the start,
He
And
just
then-
needs to start in the back now.
and then Stroll decided to go and do Stroll things
Yeah, he did, didn't
and punched a hole in Tsunoda's side pod. Knocked Tsunoda out of the race.
Yep. Gosh, man.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, Tsunoda has not been having a great second half of the season. He did so well after...
The RBs in general, both of them have kind of fallen away lately.
I don't think they've scored points in quite a bit.
Yeah, Haas is. I believe Haas is only 5 points behind him at this point.
I know. I'm getting so excited.
Yeah,
Last to
that'd be-
6.
That'd be crazy if they
Oh
managed
my
to finish
gosh.
6th this year. The first 15 or so laps of the race, not a whole lot happened. It was kind of a dull race.
So surprised.
And then pit stops started happening, and Norris going long because he started on hard tires.
Yeah.
Gets ahead of Perez when Perez pits.
Yeah.
Piastri goes to pit from second, and the team asked Norris to hold up Perez
Yeah.
So that-
great defense.
so that Perez wouldn't get past Piastri. And it worked. And
Yeah, it
Piastri
really did.
stayed in second.
Yeah. Well, you know this season about boring races. There's never a yellow flag or a red flag unless you don't want it to happen. Let's say Norris in qualifying.
Yeah, well, I mean,
There
that's
hasn't
probably a
been
good thing. This has been a
safety
pretty
car-
exciting season overall. I think most of the races have been really good.
Other than the safety car this race, I don't think there's been a safety car since China.
Yeah, it's been a while
It's
since
been an
since
awfully
we've
long
had
while.
a safety car. Yeah.
I'm probably wrong on safety car at China. I'm probably definitely wrong. We'll see though.
And then,
Piastri with the very late move. I did look at it again.
before that, though,
What?
Piastri manages to stay ahead of Perez. You know, Perez did get past Norris, but not before Piastri was back out ahead of him.
Yeah.
Leclerc pits, then gets held up a little bit by, I believe, by one of the Saubers.
I think
And
it was Bottas.
yeah, I think it was Bottas. And then Piastri's right on him, and super late lunge into turn one.
I thought it was not a late lunge. I looked at the replay numerous times, and then I realized where the racing line was. And by the time I saw the racing line, I was like, "Oh, that really is late."
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's from like it looks like he makes the decision like 5 seconds early when he really doesn't. It's a long straight. You have to act
Well,
like
where he
bam.
pulled out seemed a little bit early, but at the same time, it was late enough that Leclerc wasn't expecting him to come from that far back, even though he had
Yes.
pulled out. And he just absolutely sent it down the inside
my gosh,
and managed to
yes.
make it stick.
I still don't think that's going to be the overtake.
No, he held Leclerc off into 2 and then held him off again going into 3. And from
And
there,
he held him off the entire race.
he
to
kept
win.
holding him off the whole race.
Somehow,
Yeah.
we are all still in shock. How did Leclerc not get him?
And Leclerc was on his tail and attempting passes.
Left and right. It
yeah,
was
I mean,
all over the place.
I think there were about 10 different times that it was like the same camera shot of the two of them going into
Yes.
turn 1 with Leclerc slightly to his inside but behind him.
Yeah, like
And-
he was about to make it, and then he just braked a little earlier. That way he
Yeah.
wouldn't collide right into him, and then he just followed right back.
I mean,
and then
it
just
almost looked
switched
like they took the same shot and just recorded it and played it over and over and over into turn 1.
I didn't see that part. I didn't see how close it looked, but I might want to
Yeah.
watch that back to see how similar it was.
And Perez was right up there with them. Every time they would have a slight battle, Perez would catch right back up to him, and then they'd kind of pull away a little bit, and then they'd battle each other a little bit again, and
then
Perez would be right
Sainz
back up
actually-
there.
Sainz actually got into that battle too and made it a 4-way fight for like a couple laps.
Yep, so-
until a series of until a series of unfortunate events occurred.
Yeah, so about 4 or 5 laps from the end, Piastri started to to pull away from Leclerc. Leclerc's tires just finally had enough,
Yeah.
and Perez was all over him. Sainz was catching the whole time as well. Perez attempts a pass on Leclerc on the outside. Leclerc's braking in that. I think
This should have done a penalty.
the various. Well, no, I don't think it was a penalty.
No, I feel like for Leclerc, I feel like I don't think it was worth a penalty, but I at least think it would have been worth a warning. That felt like he kind of forced him wide.
Oh, I don't think so at all. They didn't make contact. It was clean.
Pure racing.
Yeah, that was a fantastic defense. In my opinion, that move of Leclerc's to hold off Perez was just as good as Piastri's pass on Leclerc, because it was a defensive move, but it was super hard defense, and he made it work. And he was immediately under attack again after that from Sainz.
Yeah, 'cause
and he
Sainz
held
went-
Sainz off.
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah, he
'Cause-
sure did.
No,
Sainz,
wait, no, he
Sainz
didn't.
tried to go around the outside of turn 2, and
Nope.
there was no room.
Well, yes, but then Sainz went to switch back him, and he went right down the inside of Perez after that, and easily got him. That's why
You're
when
talking
they-
about turn 1 still.
yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about in turn 2. When they got to turn
Oh.
2, Sainz was trying to pass him on the outside, and
Past Leclerc.
Yep, and
Oh.
Leclerc held him off there, and then right after that was the big crash.
I'm just gonna blame Perez, anyways. I mean, I know I'm a typical Carlos Sainz fan. This is the first time this season. It was not Sainz. I refuse. I mean, maybe it was a little bit Sainz, but I refuse.
So immediately after the crash happened, you were pretty upset because Sainz is your guy.
I might have almost kicked a chair, and I started crying.
Almost
a
kicked
little
a chair.
bit.
You
okay,
did
fine.
kick
I
the
kicked a chair. I kicked a chair. I got up right out of my seat, and then cheering him on. I was like, and then I just screamed no, and then I kicked a chair and just landed right on the couch and started crying. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Not just
but,
because
you know,
of the fact that
it's racing, and sometimes those
I
things
know,
happen.
but it's not just the fact that Sainz could have scored a podium. It's also the fact that Perez was looking like a podium finish when I predicted him.
Yeah, Perez was on for a really good result, and he walked away with nothing.
I know. I was so mad.
Yeah. So the crash itself, you know, I said immediately afterwards that I thought it was more on Sainz than on Perez because Sainz
It
moved
was
across the
not.
track a little bit.
I refuse.
And I think that having looked at it some more since then, I understand what some people like Julian Palmer are saying. It's kind of on Perez because he was behind and he had room to his left to. But I still think that
Still think
Perez
it's
was
Sainz.
far enough alongside to have earned holding his ground.
I think they both tried to get a slipstream from
I think they both could have done more to avoid the accident. Sainz could have stayed further to the right where he was. Perez could have made a better effort to move to the left as Sainz was coming across, because Sainz was ahead at that point.
Perez could have just tried and back off.
Like I said, basically what I said right after the crash is that it was 50-50, and ultimately in the end, I still think that. Even though initially I thought it was kind of 50-50, but maybe more on Sainz. No, it's on both of them. They both screwed up.
So you agree with the stewards?
I do agree with the stewards.
Wow,
yeah.
that's not often.
Well, but they got it right. I mean, you can't say that one of them was predominantly to blame for the crash. They were both to blame.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I still think it's 100% on Perez, but that's only because of the stereotypes.
So I don't think you actually do. I think you just...
No, it's like I just said. I think it's stereotypes. Yes.
I think you're fanboying.
Anyways, congratulations. Do you want to say what just happened in the Constructors' Championship? Because I think you've been waiting to hear these words for a decade.
Yeah, McLaren leading the Constructors' Championship. So Eddie knows that for me, it's not necessarily about the Drivers' Championship as it is... I mean, not the Drivers' Championship. I'm not a big fan of drivers themselves. I like Norris. I like Hamilton. But for me...
He's all about Williams. He's all about Mercedes. He's all about...
Not Mercedes.
Not Mercedes?
No.
Oh, that's right. Not Mercedes. Not Mercedes.
McLaren's my team.
He loves McLaren more than anything. I'm looking over to my right now. I see a huge McLaren banner.
Yeah, I've got a big McLaren flag down here in the office. And... So McLaren leading the Constructors' Championship.
By 20 points.
I'm very happy about that.
Yes. I am so happy as well. I mean, I'm ecstatic. It's not Red Bull anymore. The only teams I've ever seen leading a championship was Mercedes very briefly and Red Bull.
Yeah.
And Ferrari very briefly actually as well. But
Piastri,
I've never seen this.
Piastri with a mega win.
And Norris from 15th to 4th, he still beat Verstappen.
Yeah, Norris's race was really solid. Considering where he started. It was damage control, you could say. He did still gain points on Verstappen. In the end, he'll be very frustrated that he didn't gain more because of his qualifying.
Yeah, he finished 4th in the end because of the incidents, but he still gained 9 places even if Sainz and Perez did not crash. That's mega.
And because of the timing of the crash, Verstappen was not able to snag the fastest lap off of Norris.
Because he pit. Apparently, we found out way after the race that Verstappen had actually pit during the safety car.
Neither you or I had realized that Verstappen had gone into the pits on the second to last lap to try and steal the lastest lap away from Norris.
But it also meant that there were a ton of investigations. There were 6 investigations after the race, actually. Yeah. First of which was McLaren for...
a pit lane violation.
Yeah, pit lane violation.
Yeah, equipment or personnel in the pit lane.
I think it was someone
like that.
I think it was someone going out and cheering for Piastri.
I don't know. I don't know what the details of it were.
I don't know.
Verstappen was investigated for passing under the VSC.
Given a bit of money, but anyways, Verstappen was investigated. Ocon, I think, was investigated. 2 others. No one got a penalty, and then there was one other person. I can't remember who it was, but they didn't get a penalty either.
Yeah, so there were no penalties after the race, which is good. Franco Colapinto,
mega.
With an 8th place finish.
Oh my gosh.
Alex Albon with a 7th place finish. 10 points for the Williams team.
And they passed Alpine from out of nowhere.
Yep, they jumped past Alpine into 8th place in the Constructors' Championship. So he's doing very well. He's quadrupled Logan Sargent.
Yeah, that's true.
He's quadrupled the total number of points that Logan Sargent scored in his entire F1 career.
I found out
and he's done it in 2 races.
I've also found out that he actually did that including Latifi. So he's not quadrupled, but he's had more points than Latifi and Sargent combined in the past 2 races.
Yeah. He did it in 2 races.
That's 90 races?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Good Lord. But anyways.
So then...
predictions.
So we'll move on to our predictions from last week. I'll go first this time and say that my predictions were spot on. If by spot on you mean dead wrong.
Yeah, no, very, very.
So I went with Norris, Verstappen, Piastri.
Yeah.
And Verstappen not even on the podium. Mm-hmm. Norris not even on the podium. Piastri
finished
got the win, but not third. Yep.
You also said a bonus prediction. McLaren 1-2 in qualifying. Piastri was there. Norris.
Well, I got 2.
No.
I said that I didn't say 1-2. I said it would be Norris and Piastri. What I said was that it would be a Norris Piastri 1-2 in qualifying, and it was a Piastri 2.
But it was a Norris 17.
Yeah, well, that's details.
If you removed the 7.
17 starts with 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you remove the 7, you got it right.
All right, what did you have for last week?
I had Verstappen. Not the best. Perez, so darn close. And Leclerc, 1 away.
Yeah.
So, and then I also said Mercedes DNF. That did not happen.
You said that one of the Mercedes would not finish.
I said DNF from Mercedes. Stroll uses a Mercedes engine. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
That's totally no.
Come on. Come on.
Now I'm going to say no on that one.
Okay. So no
then-
points.
So we're going into the Singapore Grand Prix now this weekend.
Oh, I'm so excited. 12 months ago, this is the only win that Red Bull did not win.
Yeah, the only race Red Bull didn't win last year.
And it was Sainz who won it.
Yeah.
Yay.
So the other day, you and I were talking about this, and I said that I had a feeling that Verstappen or that the Red Bulls would do well, and I even said that I thought that the Red Bulls would retake the Constructors' Championship, and that McLaren is going to be just have an awful weekend. And I wasn't saying they'd be slow. I was thinking at the time they'd just not finish or something like that. I've come to my senses since then.
You're changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Now that we're recording, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to use my head on this.
The thing is, Dad, you play a big part in these predictions. Usually what you say is pretty close to what happens, and you love McLaren, so you're risking Red Bull retaking the lead.
Well, I think that this weekend is actually going to be Leclerc winning again.
Ooh.
His third race of the season, and then it'll be Norris and Piastri, second and third.
Norris, Piastri. I could see that.
So Leclerc for the win, then Norris and Piastri.
I'm going to do something quite a lot like last season, because last season's Singapore Grand Prix really reflected on how we're going right now in the season.
Okay.
I think that, so last year was going to be, right before the end of the last lap, Sainz, then Norris, then Russell, then Hamilton. It ended Sainz, Norris, Hamilton, because Russell did not finish. I think going to be Norris first.
I'll take it.
Sainz P2.
Okay.
Russell P3. I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
I think McLaren will extend their Constructors' Championship lead by quite a margin.
Okay.
And I mean quite a margin. And my bonus prediction...
You got to be more specific. How many points minimum? 15 points?
10.
10. Well, that's not that big of an increase.
Are you serious?
It's not that big of an increase. They gained 28 points just this past weekend.
That's an eighth and a seventh more.
Okay. Well, if Norris wins, that's already 8 points right there.
Fine, 11 points. Include the fastest lap for that one.
Okay.
But I also want to throw in a second big prediction.
Okay.
I don't think Verstappen will lead a single lap.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I know it's quite an easy one now because he hasn't led a lap for a couple of races, I don't think.
And I'm going to say, as my sort of bonus prediction, Perez, not even in the top 10.
Ooh.
In the race.
Again.
Yep.
Outside
the top 10. Maybe a DNF, but outside the top 10.
Ooh. Return down there.
Yeah. So that'll be it for this week. Looking forward to the Singapore Grand Prix.
Did you say your top? Yeah, you did say your top.
Yeah.
Three. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep. Looking forward to the Singapore Grand Prix. We will, of course, be recording after that.
Yes.
And
for more to come.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you give this podcast a like on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is. And we will see you after the Singapore Grand Prix. I've been Danny Kane.
And I've been Eddie Meteye-O'Kane.
This has been the Fast F1 Podcast. Fast F1 is produced by Danny Kane and Eddie Meteye-O'Kane. All rights are reserved. Music is performed by Alex Zavesa. Thanks for listening.